So a warm welcome to everybody here. I'm Alex. I manage I'm part of the KnowledgeHut upGrad family. I manage the India business for KnowledgeHut. And, a hearty welcome to all of you here for taking time out. It's a very interesting topic that we have today, something that, is pondered upon in boardrooms. And I'm sure most of you also have come across the theme for today. It's aligning teams and scaling business. Who other better than Mansoor to actually take us through this? And I'm sure by the end of the event or the webinar per se, if not for all, 80% of our queries should be cleared. Right, Mansoor?
Yes.
We are hoping for that.
Yes, definitely. We strive for that. And please ask questions on the chat or raise your hands wherever it's possible. We want to keep it interactive rather than just a monologue, right? So that'll be
right. No, we'll try to make it as interactive as possible for all of you, but it will be helpful for you as an individual as well as all who are part of this webinar. If you raise the questions and ask what is there in your mind, and these are sessions that KnowledgeHut upGrad is providing so that those questions are answered and you are clear. So quickly moving into the thick of things for today. I'll be giving you a quick introduction to KnowledgeHut and then passing on the mantle to Mansoor. I know all of you all are waiting for him to take on. But there have been a few changes in KnowledgeHut's journey, and we would like everybody to know about us and our the current journey and where we are headed to. So a quick understanding. We are part of the upGrad family right now. We've been in business for the last 11 years. upGrad has acquired KnowledgeHut. We have close to around a presence in close to around 10 countries, addressing clients who are 4,500 plus. We have onboarded more than around 650 plus experts across the 7 pillars that we are showcasing right now. So we're looking at enterprise agility, software development, operational excellence, behavioral and cognitive skills, currently coming under Thrive skills as well, cloud technology, and data science. So these are the primary areas that we cover. We started off, with 2 practice areas, and I could proudly call out that we are at 15 practice areas right now as an entity. As a group, upGrad, KnowledgeHut upGrad is part of a 7,000 plus team. We are servicing close to 100 plus countries right now. And we have a very strong platform. Thanks to COVID, we were able to use 10 plus years of our experience in which had gone into developing that platform to actually ensure that our clients have a solid platform to take on their deeper learning abilities, as well as ensure that there is quite a lot of outcome that they could look at within their learning journeys. And this is both at an individual level as well as a organizational level. We can move on to the next slide.
Sure.
So how are we supporting our clients? We look at a multimodal delivery per se. We are able to provide in-classroom sessions, live virtual sessions, as well as self-learning sessions. And our platform, which is AI-enabled, providing a lot of analytics, because that's an area where we saw that our clients were in the dark when they work with external agencies or vendors. We are able to provide these insights to our clients about their learners in terms of where they stand, what are their skills, their sub skills, and what is the proficiency at which they stand in multiple learning spaces as such. So in addition to 22 plus global accreditations that KnowledgeHut has, I would like to call out the Scaled Agile partnership here, where we are gold SPCT partners for Scaled Agile, and very much have trained around 12,000 plus students across the last 6 to 8 years. We have a high resource pool of SPCs, SPCTs, and you can see that Mansoor also has been with us as part of the Scaled Agile framework and consulting group for the last 10 plus years. So this is one of the 22 plus accreditations that we have, and we are more than happy to support all of our clients, all of our audience in terms of bettering their learnings, ensuring that their learnings actually move into implementation through mentorship, and finally giving them the outcome that they require. With that, I would just like to play a quick video of ours.
Sure. Let me just share my screen. Thank you so much for such a lovely and great introduction here, Alex. Let me quickly open up the video here, which is ready to walk you through our journey.
Thank you, Mansoor.
And we get started. All right.
Right. So that was a quick summary through a 2-minute video in terms of what I spoke about. Thank you, Mansoor, for sharing that. Quickly now getting to the theme for the day, and our speaker, our mentor, Mansoor per se. He is an astute thought leader and mentor in the enterprise agility space. He has more than around 35 plus globally recognized credentials to himself, and has around 20 plus years in working in the strategy execution and business agility space. So thank you, Mansoor, for taking on the space today and coming on to throw light on the topic for the day, which is agile team management, as well as helping organizations and businesses scale.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex, for your kind words. And it's really great journey being working with KnowledgeHut for almost a decade, and being one of the first trainers to deliver the first training for Scaled Agile. And my journey with Scaled Agile and KnowledgeHut started about a decade back, where I was mentored by Dean Lippingwell, and he's the one who created this methodology. So I got to learn from the horse's mouth. And today I'm going to share my experience on how to align your teams and scale your business using various practices. It's just not going to be scaled agile, but I'm going to share my knowledge. It's going to be more broad, right? And we will get into our journey, okay? So this is me getting a bit awed by Dean, who's there in the center, having a look at him and, getting inspired to see how he built this framework and how he took these things forward. That's me. Today's agenda, we will talk about building a lean enterprise. Okay, what is the necessity? What is the problem statement of getting to a lean enterprise? And what are some ingredients of building a lean enterprise? Okay, we'll talk about how do we drive business agility? What is business agility? And this is part of my research. So I happen to be a researcher with Business Agility Institute too. And I've published some papers related to business agility and how governance for agile organization should look like. I just completed one IEEE conference last week, and that paper will be published somewhere in June, July, and I will be putting on my LinkedIn. So that's my journey as a researcher. And also in this talk, we'll be talking about how do we move from projects to products, okay? How the focus shifts, right? Instead of having a start-stop, how do we move towards a product? And also we'll look at DevOps transformation, value stream management, and an implementation roadmap. And these roadmaps, which I'm going to talk is from my real-time experience, okay? And we'll also be talking about some case studies as we have, and I'll give you some options to ask questions towards the end. If you have any questions, you can put on the chat, right? We'll make this interactive. We'll also have polls, quiz. So get ready to have fun, and we will get started with our journey. So what is the reason of why we have to look at a lean enterprise or a lean organization? So there's a very good book called Why Elephants Cannot Dance. Okay, if you get a chance, read it. It's from IBM. Okay, this book talks about how IBM from an idea became a large enterprise, and how did it become a ship which could be very difficult to maneuver, or an elephant that had difficulty in maneuvering. Okay, so ideas tend to come in place and then they become large enterprises. And due to the large enterprises, I hope you're not seeing a black box, Alex. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine now, Mansoor.
Fine. Okay, good. Sometimes there's some little hindrance coming in. Okay, so we'll talk about how do we build a lean enterprise and what is the purpose of building a lean enterprise is what is covered in this particular topic. So what happened was in the 70s, in the 1700s, what happened was the Industrial Revolution took place. Okay, everyone started getting into canal mania, and they started, building the Suez Canal and all the canals, and everyone started jumping towards the bandwagon and see how they could, get into the shortest loop of travel. Then in the 1800s, we saw people moving towards railway mania. Everyone started getting into the Victorian boom, right? And then we moved into the age of steel, where everyone started looking at, steel as a progressive era. And then we had the roaring 20s where we found out the oil, right? And today, after the dot-com bubble, we are now here, okay? So where are we looking ourselves? Okay, where do we see ourselves? So post-pandemic, things have changed, right? The world has become more a shrink place with all the technologies coming in, artificial intelligence coming in. So tomorrow you wouldn't be surprised that we from KnowledgeHut will have trainers and consultants, okay, come into your place rather than physical. We could have a hologram coming in. Okay, I'm just giving ideas to KnowledgeHut tomorrow. We can start a project of hologram. So a hologram could come into your spaces and start working with you rather than me physically being in one place, right? So that's the future which is coming in. We are moving towards a digital age where people are connected. We are looking at an age where people are looking at virtual reality, right? Virtual reality is becoming a reality. We are looking at, shared spaces over internet, right? Gone are the days where you think a design workshop, a design thinking workshop, or a safe workshop, or any of the agile workshops could have been done in a virtual environment, right? So we are all having all these new technologies coming in. And thanks to the artificial intelligence, which is backing up things to move things forward. So we, in our age time, we have seen a lot of churn and a lot of move of technology from where we started to where we are, right? I'm sure some of us remember the rotary phones and the dumb phones, right? And the pagers, right? Moving into smartphones. And today you have a smartphone, which is like a mini computer in your pocket, correct? And tomorrow you may have wearable devices coming, right? So the world is progressing at a rapid pace, but our environments are not keeping to that pace, right? And that is where we need to look at a change. So this is Cotter. Cotter is one of the thought leaders, and he's got an excellent book called Accelerate. Happen to read it. It's a very, very good one. He says the world is changing at a rate at which basic systems and structures and cultures which are built over the past centuries cannot keep up, okay? And there is a demand to replace them, okay? So yes, we have built an organization for a very long time. Some organizations are 50 years, 100 years, right? If you look at IBM and Dell, and these organizations are there for many, many, many years, right? They've become those solid structures where things cannot be changed, or it takes a long time to maneuver. I also teach with University of Sydney, right? There, the hierarchical system is so, rigid. It makes difficult for us to move from one to another, right? Levels of approvals and all that stuff. So for us, it's time to rethink. So what happened was we all started with a network, okay? Say, for example, upGrad KnowledgeHut had an idea, right? Or for example, Alex had an idea. So Alex had an idea and he comes up and says, hey, Mansoor, let's start this enterprise called KnowledgeHut upGrad, right? I'm just giving an example. And we started working towards building an enterprise to ensure customer centricity, okay? Over a period of time, what happened was this customer centricity was taken care, but slowly we started building networks, okay? And we started becoming into departments. And from these departments, we started having head of departments. And from the head of departments, we had, the directors and the CEOs and so on and so forth. Now, over a period of time, we started this enterprise to put customer centricity in forefront, okay? We wanted our teams to work on customer centricity because there's only one boss. The boss is the customer. The customer can hire or fire any one of us, correct? Alex, is this session getting recorded, right? Yeah, that's good. So that is where we all started with. But over a period of time, what happened was these networks built up, and these networks got built up. Once these networks got built up, the customer centricity became the casualty, right? And that was lost somewhere in the woods. So our job is not to throw what we have already known, okay? So our job is to see how best we can implement efficiency and stability, which our hierarchical networks give, right? And also enable speed of innovation. When we talk about innovation, I can talk about this for a very long time, okay? Innovation is something the team develops out of the box, right? Something new, which is not done in your environment. And guess what? We as leaders need to allow our teams the time and space for innovation, okay? So we need to free up our times with all redundant work. We need to free our times with work which may not add value to the team. And we have to free up our teams so that they work on value-added stuff and encourage innovation so that they are the ones which are closest to the work, okay? So innovation, great ideas come from team. I used to work for a company called EMC Data Storage Solutions, okay, way back in US and India and US, right? We used to have time for hackathons. We used to have time for innovation. So it's very important to encourage our teams. But how will our teams work when they are relentlessly running and running and running towards delivery, right? So they need a breather, okay? So we as business leaders need to think, how can we enable innovations within our teams, okay? How can we give them time and space for innovation so that, there will be hunches of idea. I got an idea, or Alex got an idea. These two ideas have to mingle together to form a third idea, right? So there's a famous video on Tim Berners-Lee, who created the World Wide Web. He talks about, he had an idea, and then he had another idea, and then then the ideas got mingled with other ideas, and it took full 10 years for him to come up with a vision of World Wide Web, right? He started off Enquira as a project, and he moved on, okay? So good ideas come from team, and we as business leaders need to enable teams so that we can give them time for innovation. Now, to get these things working, we just have an operating system at our fingertips, okay? And this operating system is a dual operating system, which will maintain the traditional hierarchies, plus will have a value stream network, okay? So this value stream network will enable speed of innovation, right? It'll reduce bottlenecks. It'll decentralize certain decision-making. It'll centralize some decision-making so that it makes the life of the team members easy, okay? So as we move further in this topic, we'll talk about what decisions might be centralized, what decision may be decentralized, and we just have a framework which is under our fingertips. So what frameworks do we have? We do have Spotify, we do have SAFe, okay? Scaled Agile Framework is one of the configuration where we talk about essential configuration, portfolio level, solution level, and configuration level, okay? So if you enroll for my SAFe 6.0 class, I take you into this journey for 2 full days, right? And I'm not here to cover this framework, but there is a framework which you can go to www.scaleagileframework.com, right? And have a look at the framework. It's interactive, clickable, and you'll love this, okay? And here we talk about business agility too. The other frameworks, what we have is Spotify, okay, which was developed by Henrik. That's about squads and tribes and things like that. PMI has got their framework, which is called Disciplined Agile. We have a Disciplined Agile certification too. I happen to be a Disciplined Agile coach and a value stream engineer too, right? So as we business leaders need to look at which is the pragmatic solution or a framework which works for our enterprise, okay? And not just see that, okay, SAFe is working or Spotify is working. In one of my organization, I went and they said, hey, Mansoor, can you implement Spotify? When I asked them why, they said, oh, our competitors are implementing Spotify, and that's why we need Spotify. And I mentioned, no, let's have a look as to why do you need Spotify? And it came out to be that they needed something, a blended approach, and that would actually help with their organization, right? So that could be one of the reasons and the ways how we actually work, okay? What is the website name? www.scaledagileframework.com. Okay, thank you for that. Okay. All right, moving on. Now we have a poll. Can we have a poll, please? I'm stopping my screen, stop sharing my screen. Let's go to a poll. Quick poll. What is the biggest challenge of your teams today? Organization efficiency, lack of collaboration, lack of ownership, geographical dispersed team, and none of the above. There will be a gift announced at the end of the workshop. Fastest finger first.
This also helps us, to further align the presentation and the delivery so that we understand where all of you lie within these problem areas, problem statements, or challenges. Yeah.
Sure, I can see 30 out of 43, 67%. Come on, team. Okay, 31. That's great. Just a few more. Just have 55 seconds. Come on, guys. You have a chance to win a prize. Okay. We got 76%. Pretty close. I can see many people talk about organization efficiency, the highest rated, 33%, lack of collaboration, okay, and lack of ownership, geographically dispersed team, and none of the above. None of the above, 3%. That means to say your organization is great. Wow. We still have organizations who do not have an issue, which is very rare. And it's sounding so great. I wish I would be part of that organization, the 3% organization. I'm not sure who's that unicorn, but that's a unicorn I would like to be with. Wouldn't you like, Alex, to be in an organization where they do not have any problems?
Of course, I think
Of course, right?
after the session, my first lookout would be for these organizations. Or
No,
at
no, no,
least
no, no. We will not let you go. We'll not let you go. We will not let you go. You are an important asset. We will strive to make our organization without any issues and problems. Okay. All right. Excellent. We can end the poll. I think we have most of them here, 33 out of 43, which is good. Great. 76 participation. Excellent. So let me quickly talk about the poll. Organization efficiency, right? It's very important when we go into organization and consultants to see what the organization efficiency is. What are the tasks which add value and what are the tasks which do not add value? And I do something called a value stream mapping, which is coming in downstream. Okay. So that helps reduce, it helps reduce, minimize non-value added activities and maximize value added activities. Okay. Right. And we could talk about that. Lack of collaboration. And we do talk about this in the presentations, where it's very important for the teams to understand the why before they do the what and the how. Okay, that's very important. Lack of ownership, again, is because people not understanding their roles and responsibilities. Okay, I would say Alex has to do, Alex would say Mansoor has to do, and we won't do it. We both don't do it sometimes, right? So it's very important who needs to do what. And we need to share that responsibility because it is our business. Okay, and we survive because of the organization, right? Today, we are here working for an organization because we are deeply rooted with the vision and the mission of the organization, and that helps the teams to move forward. And geographically dispersed team, use of technology is very important here, so that the technology breaks the barriers between geographical teams, and also try to sync with the teams with different time zones is also very important in a geographical dispersed team. Does it make sense, Alex?
Sure, Mansoor.
Sure.
It does. Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me close the poll here and let's get started. Let's move further. Okay. Teams, if you have questions, please put it on the chat. In between, Alex will be having a look at the chat and we'll stop in between and try to address your questions. Okay, that's good. You share. I hope I'm sharing well. I hope there is no black box. Okay. All right. Now, driving business agility. When we talk about agile and agility, there are two concepts here, right? One is doing agile. When we talk about doing agile, it's the methodology, the Scrum, the Kanban, the extreme programming, right? The tools, the daily stand-up meetings. Okay, that is all called doing agile. Okay, here we'll focus not only on doing agile but also being agile. Okay, how can we be agile? How can we make the whole enterprise agile? Okay, that's the area of what we are going to do. When we talk about driving business agility, we'll talk about not only making our teams agile, but also our leadership team understand what agile is all about. Okay, how would they trust you as a team member? How would they empower the team? Okay, what are the ways to empower the team? How would they help you enhance communication? How will your leadership team help you understand the why before you do the what? Okay, that helps drive business agility in my experience. So this is Dean Lettingwell. He talks about every business is a software business. So large enterprises are looking at using software the way moving forward. Okay, it's not just the development team is engaged in continuously and proactively delivering innovative solution, but they are looking at the whole organization moving agile. As I mentioned, the HR and all the other departments moving agile and try to enable agility so that there is a sync top down from the leadership team to the teams and from the teams to the leadership team. So many a times we have that one-way stream and one-way conversation having top down. Okay, so a lot of organizations are great at top-down approach, but they lack a sync between bottom up. Okay, they lack a sync between what the team is doing and how it feedback reaches to the organization and how the teams align to the organization vision and mission and strategic objectives is missing. So what do we do now? We talk about business agility value stream. Okay, so business agility value stream helps an organization to compete, thrive in a digital age. Okay, it looks at the business opportunities which are emerging. So how do we sense at opportunities? Okay, We go into things like the foresters and gardeners, okay, and look at where is technology heading in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, okay. So we take a look at foresters and gardeners. We have teams who work on foresters and gardeners to sense the opportunity, right? So that we are not irrelevant like the Nokias and the like the blockbusters, right? They didn't evolve over a period of time. So it's very important to sense the opportunity and see what is the next big thing coming up, right? We need to find the minimal viable product. Okay, so we need to see what is the minimum subset I can give to my customer so that the customer starts using it. Okay, not build the whole product for 5 years and then I release it to the market and it becomes irrelevant. So my teams need to work on things which deliver value. Okay, so I, as a business leader, need to help align my teams to deliver business value, right? And also organize around value and deliver a minimal viable product, connecting to customers, understanding what customers think about. I used to work for a company called EMC, Dell EMC in the United States, right? There we used to have a customer council, customer-centric council, and we used to talk to our top 100 customers and see what they like about our product and how we can help them serve better in future, okay? And deliver that minimal viable product so they can test, they can prototype, they can test the prototype, they can work on it, and then slowly start adding. And they say, right, in software industry, nothing is completed until it goes to your customer hand. And then you can make a decision with this minimal viable product. We have something called a lean startup cycle. And then we look at whether we deliver it. And then we look at pivoting, whether we need to make a change, move forward, or do we need to stop it? Okay, so that is the pivot stage. Shall we continue what we are doing to develop a full product, or shall we go back and deliver continuously value and learn and adapt, fail fast, right? So these are the things we need to look at, delivering a minimal viable product from 2 to 6 months and give it to our teams, okay? That's where it is. So business agility value stream gives us an opportunity to go test and see how things are working, right? If they're working well, not working well, and give us an opportunity to pivot, rather than spending $10 million, $15 million, which things don't work, gives us an. The 7 core competencies of business agility. Number 1 is we need to look at enterprise solution delivery. We need to have lean system engineering. Okay, we need to defer decisions sometimes later to the process. Okay, we need to look at DevOps. Okay, we need to look at agile product delivery. We need to look at team and technical agility. How does my team build in quality, right? So how do we build in quality? Using definition of done, definition of ready, right? All those things play an important role. Maybe testing, right? Automation, those things will enable quality so that my team does not hand off defects to my customer. Okay, lean agile leadership is very, very important so that we have a mindset and principles, and we need to lead by examples and also lead the change. So in this chapter, in this webinar, I'll be also talking about the quarter 8 step of change, right? And also we need to build a continuous learning organization where we build innovation as a culture, and that has to be ingrained with our teams, right? And also we need to allow time and space for not only innovation, but also learn from each other, having brown bag sessions, relentless improvements, and have a lean thinking system and people, and have lean business operations. And even our strategies need to be agile. Okay, we need to look at the sense of danger and make a change. And also we need to get that agility at a portfolio level. So this organization agility and lean portfolio management is my area of research. Okay, that's where I'm deeply invested. And I help organizations to see how their portfolio can be lean. How can we have a value management office, which is called a PMO. PMO is now called value management office. Instead of having an agile PMO, we talk about portfolio management office. All right. Any questions? Let me just see, and then we'll have a quiz time. Okay.
Mansoor, interesting. I mean, just listening to you, I have a question.
Sure.
So, what comes out is communication is an integral part here. You were talking about top down, right?
Yeah.
Information being traversed top down, but bottom up is where the challenge is. And I think if communication can have a channel going back up, that should bring in streamlining as well as agility to a larger extent.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what we do is when we go into organizations, right? Yes, teams do well with daily stand-up meetings and Scrum of Scrum. They do all those things, right? Reviews, retrospectives, those are all doing agile. Now, when we talk about being agile, we want the leadership team to be involved when we do big room planning, which is nothing called program increment planning, or planning intervals, which is the new SAFe talking about. Right? We want to listen from the leadership team, what their vision is, right? So that we as a team help to attain that vision, what our leadership team sets, okay? And always going back and validating to their vision and hearing from them as what does it mean, what our objective means, right? So that leadership endorsement plays a very important role, and also the team should communicate good work to the management and the team, and that has to be in sync. We need to be in sync. It is no longer the leadership team is in the castle and we are sitting there somewhere down in the ground floor. There should be a communication between the ground floor and the first floor and the second floor and the third floor, right? We all have to be in sync. That's a good question, Alex. I see one question on the chat. Let me take that up. Is that here? Where is the question? Can you see the question, Alex? Okay. Raise fund is also a challenge. Yes, definitely. Raising fund is also a challenge because we don't know what we are going to deliver, right? So having those prototype, showing minimal viable product, those things play a very important role when we talk about funding. Okay. All right, good. And it's time for quiz. Yes, please. Let's go ahead with a quiz. Which is one of the 7 core competencies of business agility? All right, here we go. Hey, I'll have a sip of water here by the time you guys do it. All right, I can see some participants. Fastest finger first, guys, but if you've not had your fastest finger first, still you have an opportunity to win something from us. I can see how many? Okay, 32 out of 48, good numbers. I can see business agility as 15%, DevOps as 9%, organization agility at 30%, continuous improvement culture. Okay. So which are the 7 core competencies? Okay. All right, good. Now, we'll announce the results in the end. Okay, so that's good. I hope we are keeping a track of those. All right, now we need to look at a shift. Okay, and this shift plays a very important role in the area of organization agility. Okay, now what is that shift? We need to move from projects to products. Okay, so for a very long time, project management has taken a center stage, right? So project management has started from when the Deming cycle started. Okay, so from when the Deming cycle started, it has been there in our worlds. Okay, that has taken a front seat. Projects do encourage start and finish. Okay, they encourage start and finish. I don't know, my sharing is playing up. I think the slides just got closed. Sorry about that. Let me just open it again. Somehow it stopped. Anyways, it's coming up. Okay. So organizations have to move away from projects to product. The reason why they have to move from projects to products is because product deliver value. Okay. Whereas projects have got a start, have got an end. But at the end, they may be operations, maintenance, and sustenance also. So when we talk about product, it's talking about the whole life cycle. Okay, it's talking about the whole life cycle rather than just talking about a product. right? So we need to look at how do we get our teams aligned into product mindset, okay, rather than a project mindset, which is just a start and an end. You start delivering and running to the next piece of work, right? So that is very important. Okay, all right. Having some problem here. I don't know.
Are you getting stuck, Mansoor?
Yeah, I'm getting stuck. Yeah, I don't know why. Let me stop sharing. Okay. It's getting stuck. I don't know why. Let me stop sharing.
Mansoor, just let me try sharing.
You want to share? Okay. Yeah, that'll be better. I don't know. Struggling.
Sorry, everybody. We just, as always, technology needs to know who is.
Yeah, we no longer need 5G. We need 6G, 7G, 8G, 9G, and 10G, I guess. Great. Okay. Thank you, Alex. Thanks for being a savior. And let's go into products and projects. That'll be great. Yes, I was here. Excellent. Excellent. So we know the right hand talks to the left hand. So Alex and Mansoor are in sync. That's great. Excellent. Let's move on without any interruptions. Those who master large scale software delivery will define the economic landscape. So this guy is Mick Kirsten. Okay, Mick Kirsten talks about how to move from projects to products. Okay, products do have a life cycle, and within a product there could be multiple project life cycle. So you need to think from a view where products are thinking from an ideation, right? From an ideation and moving down until delivery, right? Until decommission. It's like from the birth of the child until, the end of life of a child. So you need to think from a product, from a holistic perspective, and also you need to look at horizons. Okay, does my customer need this product? Does my customer need enhancements? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to make change? Do I still need to produce this product and make it relevant, or still keep investing on this product and spending money which no one ever uses? Okay, so that is very important when we start moving from a mindset from projects to products rather than just delivering, right? And we look from a value perspective based. Next slide, Alex, please. All right, now customer centricity. There's only one boss. Okay, there's only one boss who can hire us or fire us or anyone in this room. Okay, we got about quite a big group here, and that is your customer. Okay, the organizations who are successful are the ones who align their teams towards customer centricity. Okay, the customer centricity has to be the forefront of what we do. We need to think like our customer. We need to behave like our customer. We need to understand what our customer thinks about our product and services, right? So you need to always put customer centricity in forefront. How do we do it? There are a lot of different tools like design thinking tools and things like that which come in. Okay, customer-centric organization will think about how do we generate greater revenues? How do we deliver value? How would we deliver our value to our customer? How do we increase our employee engagement with our customer, right? It's not just to give customer the extra and make my customer please, but also understand what is the next best thing they are looking from us. Okay, what are their expectations? So when I used to work with EMC, Cisco used to really do well in this area. Okay, they used to be really the leaders in customer engagement. I happened to create something called a VCE model, the VMware, EMC, and Cisco model, right? Because when the customer came into EMC, they were talking about storage. Then when they went to VMware, they were talking about virtualization. And they went to Cisco, they were talking about switches, right? And we said, why don't we create one ecosystem? When my customer enters, they should not know who they are talking to, so that, we keep throwing the customer from one end to another and another end. So why don't we think about our customer centricity? And this is where we started using different tools. Can I go to the next slide, please, Alex? Where we need to understand our customers' problems. So you as team members and business leaders need to discover what your problem is all about. Okay, doing Gemba work, going and seeing the process. Okay, when I went into my EMC services team, I found that they used to find difficulty in looking into documents from the website, right? They used to Google to find the documents, and we found that we didn't have great, website and tools like that. So doing a Gemba walk, going and seeing the process, what the challenges, creating user persona. So Alex is a tech savvy person. So I need to create requirements as a team member, as a business, to think about Alex as a forefront. Okay. Alex could be a tech savvy person, whereas Mansoor could not be a so tech savvy person, right? So we need to look at how do we create user persona and think from a user perspective, creating empathy maps, right? Creating empathy maps, creating customer journey maps. We need to understand our customer's journey from when they enter our system until when they exit our system. So we need to understand the whole journey map. We need to do story mapping, okay? Prioritize requirements based on what my customer needs are, customer demands are, so that we deliver a product which is desirable, viable, feasible, achievable, and sustainable. Excellent. That's good. And that happens to be the design thinking. Let's do a poll. Let's go to the next slide and do a poll.
So
Yeah.
Mansoor, I mean, in essence, what we are trying to say is, I think the quiz is up. So everybody can, give a shot at the quiz.
Sure.
And probably I'll keep my question for after.
You can move the slide because there is an answer on the slides here. Can you please? Yeah. Please, can you just move? Oh, okay, that's good. That's better. All right. I can see 21 people out of 43. 43, yes, please. Come on, love. You have a chance to win. 14% say Jira, 0% Azure DevOps. Quite a bit of love for empathy maps and customer-centric maps. 31, another 12 remaining.
I think we are almost done. Yeah.
Almost done. Very good. Yes, Alex, go to your question, please.
Right. So, quickly just thinking about what you've mentioned. So I think a team would also have a goal in place when you talk about customer centricity, right? So it's not anymore, especially when it's a development team. You're looking at developing certain features for your products. And then the question of why am I doing it? That comes into place rather than, filling out a checklist of tasks or features.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then again, those features and tasks need to prioritize based on the must have, should have, could have, and won't have, right? What will my product have? What are non-negotiable, right? For example, security. You cannot have negotiation about security, right? Your product needs to have the right security. We call them illities, right? We call them non-functional requirements, which are really required by the product. And without that, you cannot go into the market, right? And also we do something called a weighted shortage job first, saying that which is a feature which can deliver value to my customer and enhance customer centricity and give me the best ROI, return on investment. And we have some parameters based on them. Good question. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on. Doing well. Okay. All right. DevOps transformation. DevOps is a very, very big subject. Okay. I think there's a question on the chat, Alex. We want to take a look.
Yeah.
First, okay. The question is.
My question is that in the public space, what are the types of problems that we can meet?
It's a little unclear, Richard.
Yeah.
Rachid,
if you could elaborate on your question, and I hope I took the abbreviation in its most generic sense as public, but I think you are referring to something which is different. So if you can just put that in there, I think we'll get that.
Get back to you. Okay, no worries. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so maximizing speed and stability. Okay, so DevOps is the talk of the town. That is what we look at in future. So here what happens is we don't throw things from the development to the operation saying that, hey, you know what? I have developed a product, somebody will do the polishing and the shining, right? We don't do it. So the development and operations work together, okay? They help together so that they enhance the speed and stability, okay? We look at operations, development, architecture, and business and security working together. So DevOps is a great topic, all right? And we have DevSecOps and all the different type of DevOps. So basically the development also work with the operations, and operations work with development, so that if you want to change some, look and feel and whatever of, a product, that alignment has to come in. Okay, so that is where DevOps come into picture. DevOps is just not a team, it's a mindset, it's a culture. Okay, it helps team to continuously explore. Okay, it helps teams to continuously integrate. So what happens is we need to look at a continuous delivery pipeline, so that when we do continuous exploration, we actually go out, reach out to our customer, understand what the customer's needs are. Okay, go into trade shows, go into conferences, listen what our competitors are doing, right? Get that feedback into the loop, incorporate that, and also look at continuous integration. How do we integrate continuously, and how we continuously deploy solution, so that we give a solution to a customer when a customer wants it, not when we feel we want to give it to the customer. Okay, so the customer should be able to pull the value when they need it. Okay, so the team does the development. Okay, the team does whatever they have to produce, and maybe toggle it, right? Toggle the features and keep it ready for a release for maybe a Christmas sale or a Black Friday sale or a Boxing Day sale, right? So the customer should be able to pull the value when it is required. Okay, and that happens when we have a continuous delivery pipeline. It's like a baking factory, right? So you start manufacturing cakes, and it is like a machine. It's like, how do you keep producing and churning out value to your customers, develop features, and see and look at opportunities. When does your customer need value, and give the value to the customer when the customer needs it, not the other way around. Okay, those release cycles no longer exist. We don't say like, we are releasing Apple, the Android or whatever the software is on 30th of December. No longer. Your phone gets updated almost every day. So there are updates which gets pushed, patches getting pushed, right? Features getting pushed, enhancements happening. Even while you're sleeping, your phone is getting updated. All right, any questions before we go to the next topic, value stream mapping? Alex, you have anything to ask from the previous one?
Oh, I'm I'm not picking on your brain this time.
No worries, that's good. All right, value stream management. Okay, so this is an interesting topic. It's very important for us to understand what adds value and what does not add value. Okay, how do we do that? We have something called a value stream management. So when I go to organizations, large corporates, I get to the team and I said, hey, can you craft out your process and show me how does your process work? Okay, they say, okay, this is my first step, this is my second step, this is my third step, and they have a big convoluted value stream map. Now, from that value stream map, I challenge and ask them question, why do you need this process? What value is it adding? And then we look at creating a leaner value stream so that we can see which activities can be minimized, what are required, and how waste can be removed. So when we get to lean thinking, we are identifying value stream for each product. Okay, we are looking what is the lead time, what is the lag time, right? What are the steps? And this is a very good book from James and Daniel, which is called Lean Thinking, right? So they talk about make the value flow without interruption, without start stop. Okay, for example, we were having this presentation, and for some reason my system was too tired and we did not stop, right? We had a backup plan and Alex jumped it, right, without wasting even half a minute or 30 seconds, right? So that interruptions need to be eliminated, correct? That was a good example what we had here now. We need to pursue perfection so that we know what we need to deliver. We need to embed quality, right? And we need to identify the value streams of the product. And we fund the value streams, okay? Not the products or not the projects, okay? So as long as Alex's projects are delivering value, right? We fund them, because starting and stopping of funding, because what happens in organizations is the crying baby gets the milk first, right? So whichever teams cries for money, they get the milk first, right? Or hippo happens. Hippo is the highest paid person actually gets to make a decision. Just because Alex is the CEO of the company, he makes a decision and all his pet projects get funded, correct? So that is not happening when we fund a value stream, okay? We would ask for budget for the value we are delivered, and it's not one person making a decision, the highest paid person making a decision. It's more a participatory budget where all the people from the board decide which are the initiative which has to be funded. And that's a big mind shift change at a leadership level, which happens so that my teams are continuously delivering value. All right, let's move on to the next slide, please. Yeah, so you need to identify the value stream so that it continuously deliver value. You can define, you can build, validate, and you can give increments of value rather than having a big bang of value towards the end of 2 years, 3 years, right? You deliver incremental value, and then it's very important. Now, let me ask a question to everyone, okay? Can you identify any delays in your process? On the chat, you can talk about any delays, and then I can give you some suggestions. What could be some ways to reduce those delays, okay? So if you're talking about your process, can you please put on chat, what are some reasons of delays or causes of delay in your process? I'll give you about a minute or 2 or 3. Alex, even you can think if there are any delays in your existing process, that will be good, and see how we can tackle that.
Sure.
Anything on the chat?
We have no, okay. This question was part of the previous one, but
Yeah, we'll answer at the end. Rachit's
yeah.
constitution, we'll answer at the end. Okay. Anyone else? Dependability. Okay, Mukesh says dependability. Is it team dependability or what is that, Mukesh? If you want to unmute, is there a possibility to unmute people, or can they unmute themselves?
Yeah, I think right now they have the option to unmute themselves.
Okay.
If you would like, if any of the participants would like to speak, the option is available right now.
Yeah.
To ask a question.
Please unmute, have a quick chat. Happy to.
So Mukesh, I think if you can just throw a little bit more light on what aspect of dependability are you calling out?
Yeah, I think logistic dependability. I think he says that dependability and viscosity. Okay. All right, there are a few things which have come up on the chat right now. Change management process, waiting time to get approvals. Yes. So Abhishek, it's very important so that you can decentralize some decision making, right? So which decision making can be given to the team, which ones can be decentralized, which can be decentralized. That's a very important process. Logistic dependability, right? Yes, you need to look at your supply chain, right? Should we have a centralized procurement process versus decentralized procurement process, right? Should you have a procurement at your team level? Is that possible, right? Do you have multiple options for logistics, right? Are you depending upon one vendor or are you looking at multiple vendors, right? Mariam says dependability and viscosity in terms of architecture and product development pipelines. Yes, you need to look at what part of solution you need to fix and what part of solution you need to flex. Okay, so that is very important. You need to look at the fixing and the flexing of the problem, right? Depends on organization, teams, communication skills. That's very important, Rachit. So you need to look at how these things actually work so we always have waste in our processes, right? So no organization can ever claim and say we do not have wasteful process, okay? Can we eliminate everything? The answer is no, we can't eliminate everything. We can't have zero elimination of delays or, optimization of process. We can make it best work to suit our needs, right? And see how best we can optimize. Debian says sprint requirement finalization, right? So for this, we can have a sprint planning meeting or iteration planning meeting so that we can define what our sprint goals or iteration goals are. Okay. So that is very, very important. Okay. That's good. Thank you. It says chat is disabled for some people. I don't know.
Mohammed, we're trying to get that sorted for you because I think we've enabled it for everybody.
Yeah.
We'll try and see what we can do to get your chat enabled. In the meantime, would you like to, unmute yourself and speak, Mohammed? That could be faster now that we have Mansoor's attention.
Sure.
All right. So I don't think so. Mohammed wants to talk right now, but we'll look into the chat aspect, and maybe Mansoor will get your question towards the end.
We'll have some time at the end to answer questions. All right, Alex, did you identify any delays in your process which is impeding your processes? Let's be honest here.
Well, see, in terms of processes per se, Mansoor, I'm part of the business development team, right?
Absolutely.
So for us, it's always information and to ensure that it could be in terms of curriculum that one of our clients asking for, or it could be a solution that our clients asking for, where the delay can be because it's a new solution for us and we are trying to actually retrofit that into something which is existing, right? And because of that, there is a delay because everybody is grappling for information to put this together.
Sure. How do we reduce it? We used to have the same problem in EMC. The customer used to go and talk to the sales team used to go talk to the customer, right? And the customer would have its own requirements and solution. And we used to come back to our technical team, ask them for solutions, and then they used to used to go back and forth. So the change what we made is along with the sales, we used to have a pre-sales team along with an SME, okay? So in your discovery calls, if you have an SME, or anyone from the pre-sales who understand what different solutions are rather than being biased about a solution, okay? That plays a very important role. And then you collect the information from your customer, work with an SME and see which methodology or framework or process or change or whatever they require, right? And propose it to your customer's need and see how you can tailor these processes. That's very important because yes, we have all these different processes and tools, but you need to be pragmatic on how to use them, right? And you need someone who can actually tailor them. Someone may be an expert in Scaled Agile and only talks about Scaled Agile, but whereas your customer might need Spotify or Disciplined Agile or a combination of all that to suit their organization need, which you have to actually recreate the process. And definitely, I do help organizations to build their own frameworks rather than use an existing one. Okay, I did that for Airbus and all the other organizations.
Thanks for that, Mansoor.
Excellent. So now you know where to approach, right? Who to approach.
Yep. Thanks for that.
No worries. Let's move on.
Right.
Excellent. Let's go to the next slide, Alex, please, if you don't mind. Okay. So you need to optimize the whole value stream. Okay. This is another good book from Toyota, which is Taichi Ono. He talks about most of your problems in your process will surface as delays. Okay. These delays are the time which helps you reduce to go to the market. Okay. To reduce these delays, you need to find the results. And if you reduce the delays, that enables you to go to the market pretty fast. Okay. So here at this point of time, I would like to show you a nice video, which was not there a part of the slides, but I will quickly show you a video here. I hope my screen doesn't hang. It is about value stream mapping. It talks about the process change, what the Formula One racing car does when it was in 1950s versus 2030, right? The shift, what had happened, how they optimize the value stream. If you wouldn't mind to stop sharing your screen, Alex, and just pick up a quick video if you
Yep,
don't mind.
you have control.
I have control. Okay.
Yes.
It's a very short video. This was not planned. This was not a part of the game plan, but I thought, let me just show you. It's called Pit Stop 1950 to 2013. Okay, it's a very, very short video. If you blink, you'll miss it. Okay, so we'll see how the Formula One made a change, but I need to check. I need to ask a question to the team. Okay, how much time it took in 1950 to 2013? You can put on the chat. And what was the key driver which this change needed to happen? Okay, so that's my two questions. Okay, please look at this one, a little one. New share, new share, new share. Okay. Share. Okay.
But Holland comes in for a pit stop. Time to refuel and change tires. Lou Moore himself changes the tires. Only 4 crew members, including the driver, are allowed to work on the car. It's a tense time. Holland stays in his seat, anxious to get away. Let's watch. The tires are changed at last. A crewman polishes the windshield as Holland moves away just 67 seconds after he stopped.
67 seconds. Now see the change.
Mansoor, what was that? 2 seconds?
Yes.
From 50 to 2.
Yes, 50 to 2 seconds. What could be the key driver? Why do you think this change happened? What was the key driver for enabling this change? Anyone on the chat? What made this change to occur? Some percentage of waste will always be there. Yes, Abhishek, that's very true. Anyone else? What was the key driver for this change? Okay, multiple people working on it. Technology, yeah, that's right. Restriction, number of people, yes, a lot of manual work previously, proper assigned task, adaptation to faster technology, more collaboratively, that's great. But also there was something called cost of delay. Okay, if there was a delay in delivery from the team, every nanosecond counted. Okay, every nanosecond would have been a win or a loss for the Formula One. Okay, so that was very important. So adapting technology, more collaborate, right? That is where it actually helped and it actually worked. So what do you think, Alex?
I think even how the car was made, it was made to ensure that everything is done in 2 seconds. Previously, that was not looked at, right? So you didn't look at the outcome per se.
Yes.
At this greater detail.
Yeah.
Now, you just needed a single nut holding one tire.
Sure. Absolutely right. So everyone had the clear roles and responsibilities. Every nanosecond actually counted. Every second counted because every second was a win or a loss. Right? That was very important. Very good. Excellent. Good,
Let's
good.
start sharing again.
Yes, please. Go ahead. Just the last few slides. And I think we are almost getting close to the session.
Just a moment.
Sure. It's nice to see the whole team still intact and learning to share. Okay. So, all right. So
There
yes.
you go.
Yeah, let's move to the next slide. So yes, it's reducing delays. So basically you need to focus on the delays, right? So in this slide, it says, you will have 6 hours of value being delivered in 7 weeks. How do? We need to look at the bottlenecks and how we need to make efficiency flow, right? So this delays has to be reduced and optimize your process. Okay, let's move on. All right, there is a quiz time. Let's do a quiz. Yes, please. Quiz on the screen.
Launching up.
It's okay.
And there you go.
Which tool is used to identify waste in the process? Easy one. All of the above. Value stream, Jira, DevOps. See, we got 20 out of 38. Participation is getting a little slower, I guess. I hope we are not making you Zoom fatigue.
I think we need to get the gifts out.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know.
Yeah. So the news is, wait to the end. We will be calling out the winners, and I think you will have a surprise coming your way.
That's great. That's. I wish I would have been a participant, Alex, here, rather than being.
After picking up the questions, Mansoor, I wouldn't let you in.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay. Okay, we got almost 60% of the participation and 83% says value stream map. That's a right answer. That's good. Excellent. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the next one real quick. Yeah, implementation roadmap. This is my favorite. Okay. Yes, Alex, go ahead.
So Mansoor, I thought, let me bring this bouncer into you. You were talking about a lot many frameworks, many ways, and I thought, let me pick your brain, give you an actual problem statement that I came across with a couple of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought of sharing this across with you, and let's see if you would be able to walk the talk.
Sure, definitely. And this is part of my life, Alex. So when I go to organizations, as I mentioned, like Airbus and BAE systems here in Australia, pretty much defense oriented, right? Where things are pretty much structured, people with fixed mindset, being in the army, being in the defense for the last 50, 30, 40, 45 years, right? So I've seen this problem. It's not unique. It's not new, right? So when we go to a large transformation and see how things are happening, we would first start off with a leadership briefing, okay? Making them understand what Agile is and what Agile is not. I would like to do a session on Agile myths and facts, okay? So people think Agile in different contexts. What Agile means to you may not mean to me, okay? For you as a leadership team, you would think that you're giving away control, but you still have control. So that is very important, making people. Having a senior leadership endorsement plays an important role, okay? So that is important. And also you need to start looking at how can you build commitment, right? From the bottom up. You need to find those change agents in this journey. So you need to find the people who are the seeds, okay, of change. How do you plant those seeds for change and how these seeds will become saplings and one day become a plant, and these plants become a tree, and those trees become a forest. So you need to identify those change agents. That's very important. They are your flag bearers. They are the ones who will carry the torch of your transformation. Okay. And also you need to connect the leadership, the top floor and the ground floor, and there will be a one common point where both meet. Okay. So you can't pull the leadership down and say, okay, you need to come down to the team. You cannot say team to go up to the leadership. Team at one point they have to meet. So when we do these transformation, we see how do we bridge the gap? How do we cross the chasm? Okay, so that crossing the chasm plays a very important role where the team, works with the leadership team, and the leadership team works with the team as one unit. Okay, that's very important. Transparency is a very important point. I would like to add this and we'll move forward, because many organizations have something called watermelon reporting. Have you heard of watermelon reporting? Have you seen a watermelon?
Yes, of course.
Yes. How does it look from outside?
Nice and round.
And color is?
Green on the outside.
And when you cut it inside?
Red, pink.
Red. So what is watermelon reporting? As a leader, I would say
for me now.
Sorry?
That's a bouncer for me now.
Okay. It's like I would say, Alex, everything is great and great and great, everything going good, right? Green from outside. But if you look at my project reports and delivery and things like that, you will see everything is red inside. Okay? Green from outside, red from inside is called watermelon reporting. And that happens because of no transparency. Okay. I'm afraid to tell you the truth. Okay. And that requires honesty and truth, and feedback plays an important role in organization. And many a times this happens in large transformations. I hope I've answered your question.
No, that's interesting.
Let's move on and take a look at how do we implement this. Okay. So very important, right? As a leader, you need to make your teams understand the why before they do the what and the how. Why is it important? So you need to get everyone connected to the journey. Okay. This is from Simon Sinek's book. Okay. And good organizations start with why. It's called the Golden Circle. You can look his book. And he talks about, you need to understand people know why they are doing, what is the purpose. There's a good YouTube video. If you just type in Simon Sinek and say Golden Circle, there's a beautiful video. It's about an 18 minutes video. I highly recommend you to watch that video. It's very important for the leadership team to connect the why before they do the what and how. Okay. The purpose plays an important role. Next slide, please. Let's move on. Yeah. So now to lead a successful transformation, there is an 8-step process. Number one, as an organization, we need to create a sense of urgency. Why is it important? What if you don't do it now? Okay, so that's very important. So when I go to organizations, I talk about Nokias and the blockbusters becoming irrelevant of today, right? So that is important, creating a sense of urgency. It's not about making people scared, saying that if you don't do this, you're going to be obsolete, right? It's about creating a sense of urgency. You need to build a guiding coalition, right? You need to build an army of people who understand the need of change, right? And you need to get that endorsement from the leadership level, okay? Without leadership endorsement, change will not work. You need to have a strategic vision showing about where my organization is heading, right? And how can we be relevant? That's important. You need to enlist and volunteer armies so that they are the ones who lead the change. And the next slide is to enable actions, remove barriers so that the team can generate those value, and also look at short-term wins, low-hanging fruits, which we can show value to our business, to our customers, right? And you need to sustain acceleration. You need to promote change until the vision becomes a reality. And after a certain time, your vision can change, right? We have vision 2020 or 2030. It could become 2040, right? And then we make that change institutionalized. Because when I, as a consultant, turn back, you should not go back to your old ways of working, right? You should still adapt the new ways of working, and you should lead the change. That change should become an habit, and it should become part of your ecosystem. It should become the part of your neural pathways in your brain, okay? So that is important, so that the change is institutionalized until we look at the next transformation, okay? All right. So in one of the large organizations, what we did was we divided the whole transformation into waves. Okay. We looked at building from bottom and top. Having the senior executive leadership team, we looked at building foundations. We saw if the teams are working well, and most of the transformation, the teams are great working in, basic agile and scrum processes, which takes nearly 4 to 6 months to see if their practices, ceremonies are doing well. Are they doing agile buts? Agile buts are, they say we do agile, but we don't have a daily stand-up meeting. We do agile, but we don't have a backlog. We do agile, but these are called agile buts, and these are the most dangerous things. So generally in wave one, we try to clear that up, teeth that up, and see we are following the right values and principles using Scrum and different agile methodologies, right? For the team, is the team using the right tools, techniques available? Then we looking at a larger scale between 7 to 12 months or 18 months, depending upon the size of the organization. How can we move this to an organization level, at a program level, at a portfolio level, right? At a leadership level, and also look at automation, DevOps, right? And looking at scalable, sustainable. So organizations moving from 0 to safe could take somewhere between 1 to 3 years. It all depends upon the size and the scale of the organization. But the end state is to make the teams and the organization embrace business agility and to make the organization be more nimble and move fast. I had one client who just came in, Alex, and said, we want 0 to safe in 6 months. I said, it's a bit unrealistic. It's a journey, because change doesn't happen overnight, right? It's a journey. And then when I explained, they understood, and then they're going through this journey. So wave one, generally we do a due diligence, we create an as a state, all right? We look at chartering and we'll set up some foundation, agile methodologies, practices. Wave two, we start looking at transformation strategy, roadmap, look at competency-based, we look at rolling out enterprise at an enterprise level, and also we do maturity at every level to see what the current state is, what the future state is. We look at tools, DevOps, ongoing coaching, right? It's important. Set up champions, look at different methodologies like scaled agile, Scrum at scale, less disciplined agile, so on, right? And set up a community of practice so that we can embed the change and this transformation can be lasting, and also look at continuous improvement and foster that change. All right, so this is a safe implementation roadmap, and this roadmap can be tailored, right? So when an organization decides to move into scaling, okay, they can go from an organization which is decided to go safe, and then we look at creating change agents, train executives, managers. We look at the value streams, how we can accelerate the value, right? Implement the roadmap, prepare for launching trains, have specialized workshops for, product owners, scrum masters, say for architects, right? And then roll it across and look at how can we deliver more value streams, launch more value streams, develop coaches, and help the organization accelerate. This is one of the roadmap which is given, but again, we can have different roadmaps based on your organization need, and that can be tailored and customized.
Right.
Thank you. All right, last one, activity. This is the last activity. So where do you find your organization? You can unmute and have a talk, okay? We spoke about value delivery, respect for people. We spoke about flow, right? Without interruptions, innovation, relentless improvement, leadership. 1 being the least, 5 being the highest. Where do you see your organization into? If you can quickly unmute and quickly talk or put in the chat, that's fine. I know we are running out of time. We just have 3 minutes remaining. And this is the last activity. Yes.
So quickly, if everybody could, we've enabled the unmute option, and everybody can, whoever would like to have a one-on-one with Mansoor can do.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Abhishek, please go ahead.
Hi, this is Abhishek this side. Regarding if I talk about my company, the value delivery, it will be 4 out of 5.
Good.
Flow is also it will be 3, innovation 3, relentless improvement also 3, leadership 4, but respect for the people and culture, it will be 2.
Okay, so when I come to your organization, if I happen to come over, if you give me a chance, my question would be, how would I move your teams and organization from a 2 to a 3? Okay, now it's very important to respect, okay, people and culture, because people do all the work. Okay, if we have lack of respect for people and culture, because culture eats strategy for breakfast. You can have an organization with great strategy, but if you do not have the right culture, everything goes out of the box. So it's very important for us to understand how we create that environment of respect and enable the culture. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Abhishek. That's great. No answers right now. We can always have a talk later, but yes, we do help organizations to move from a two.
Yes, Mansoor, I just want to add one thing, what you just said, that regarding the agile transformation and everything, regarding culture, one thing is most important among all the team members is the psychological safety, right?
Absolutely.
Because if it is not there, then you are you have a fear of failure. You have a fear of, maybe the management will take some step if I do something wrong, or that's if the safety is not there, then what's the point of doing agile? This build, measure, and learn. We cannot repeat this process anymore.
Spot on, spot on. That's important, right? So that's where, the first thing I do is talk to the leadership team, okay? Because the organization is a replica of the leader, okay? Teams want to go agile, teams want to deliver fast, team wants to deliver value, but the organization is still having old processes and old methodologies, and the mindset is there. So ensuring psychological safety plays a very important role. Make sure that it's important to fail fast, right? Not punish the messenger, right? If Abhishek comes to me and say, hey, Mansoor, there's a problem. And I say, hey, Abhishek, why is there a problem? Do you think Abhishek will come back next time? Not at all, right? So I need to encourage you to open up, speak up. It's human to make mistakes, but not repeat those mistakes. Good point, Abhishek. Anyone else? Isaac, yes, go ahead.
Isaac, would you like to comment? Isaac, can you hear us? Would you like to say something?
Not really. Not really.
Really?
Following. Thanks.
All right. Anybody else would like to unmute and
yeah, Asha, go for it.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Mansoor, what I wanted to ask is, value delivery is an outcome of all the other things working together. If the flow is good, if there are people work for relentless improvement, there is a good leadership and respect for people. If all of this contribute to sustain or even improve the value delivery as such, how do you assess it?
Yes.
I find all the other things are contributing to value delivery.
Absolutely spot on. You just nailed it. I wanted this to come up. And that's the reason I had put value delivery as separate. Okay. So yes, you need to enable. These are all enablers, okay, for value delivery. How do you ascertain this value? So your customer defines the value, right? Your customer needs to measure the value, right? What value am I getting? Value for money, value for, the product which I'm delivering. So it's very important to understand the value delivery. Am I delivering value to my customer? Is it, and all these are definite enablers. Having a great leadership, right? Relentless improvement. These are all enablers for value delivery, right? So first you need to fix all these things before you need to go into value delivery. That's the right point. Thank you for getting this. And I was expecting this question. So that's good. All right. Anyone else? Last few seconds remaining. I think we crossed 2 minutes, but that's okay. Any final questions, comments? Can we just go to some Q&As and we can move some slides?
I think, Mansoor, we have a question from Rachid Hussain.
Yeah.
How and when can we define the project deadline, since we have many constraints?
Okay. So project deadlines, that's a very good point. Yes, we have to deliver something. Okay. So when we have constraints, we need to look at, when we talk about project will have a start and an end. Okay. But whereas in an agile methodology, we may not have we may have milestones. Okay. We may have to measure the milestones as we progress. Okay. And that progress is very important to show our customer as to how we are progressing and what we are delivering value. Showing that incremental value at different time points is important. Okay. Now, the customer would say, when are you delivering? When is my project ship? In Agile, we need to understand what my customer wants. What are the features which they require? And then decide how do we develop this incremental value and keep releasing this value. And the customer may say, okay, fine. After these 20 features, my product could stop. Okay. It's okay to tip the tail at the end. That can happen. Okay. Excellent. Good. Anyone else?
Thank you. Thank you,
Hi,
Mansoor.
this is Katie.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Katie.
Yeah. Hi, Mansoor. I wanted to understand how important is it to check with the customer while we are going into one framework and while we are starting up the program or a project or product development. How important is it to discuss with the customer with which framework they want to go? Because I suggested this somewhere and it was kind of backfired to me.
Okay.
So I just wanted to understand if it is really important or we can just go with whatever we are good at.
Okay, that's a very good question. And I faced this many times. Okay. So first of all, number one, you need to question yourself. Do you have the authority to actually recommend a framework to your customer? Okay. If you're not a subject matter expert, if you've not done consulting, if you've not done implementation, the customer could backfire and say, hey, you only know Safe, or you only know Spotify, you only know, less or DAS. That's why you're saying this. Okay. And it doesn't work for us. Okay. So you need probably a consultant or a person who's worked on different frameworks. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's very important for you to align with your customer, because if you're working on one methodology, your customer is working on another methodology, it becomes a huge disconnect. Okay, having that connection is important. If your customer is following traditional, you're following Agile, there's a mismatch. Okay, so it's very easy to get your customer aligned and tailor your process. Okay, the biggest challenge in implementation is you become hard mindset, your customer become hard mindset, okay, and there's a friction. I have written a paper on this called ambidexterity in organization governance, which is going to be out somewhere in June or July. I'll be putting it on my LinkedIn. You can have a read. The best of the implementation is where you know what you need to explore and what you need to exploit. Okay. So that is very important. Sorry, can we mute Usha a bit? Okay, Usha is muted. Yeah, unmute Usha. There was a bar.
So I think, yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
So that's why, Ketki, it's very important to align yourself with your customer. Okay, because lack of alignment would cause friction, and that would cause delays, and that would cause bottleneck. Yeah. I hope I
also had a question. I think this should be the final question. Mohammed,
Yeah.
you had a question, right? So
Yeah, thank you, Alex, and thank you, Mansoor, for giving us this useful presentation and information. I have a question regarding the sometimes agile adaptation is not adding a value for the company projects or running business as usual. For that, is there any criteria to check the viability of being agile to the company?
Very good question. Very good question. Okay. So the biggest challenge in our world is we have executives, CEOs, or anyone from the business head, they go to a conference and they come back and say, hey, Mohammed, let's go agile, without even understanding the meaning of agile. Okay. So I built up something called a project management competency center for Airbus. And I said, okay, if an initiative comes, you need to evaluate. Okay. Generally, we have a Stacy matrix or any of the metrics where we see why we go waterfall, why we go agile, or can we go hybrid. Okay. Organizations only going agile because of the sake of agile is a challenge. Correct? So you need to know when to use what methodology, what tailoring is required. Do you need blending, right? The best transformation and application of a framework is when it is tailored to suit your organization need. Your customer doesn't know which framework you use. They're only bothered about solving a problem, okay? So the best methodology is the one which is pragmatic and which allows you to tailor and deliver value to your customer. Make sense? Okay. Amrish had his hand raised up. One last one.
Go ahead, Amrish.
Hey, Mansoor. Hey, Alex. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. So I was more interested in when you put up the slide in the mid person on the moving away from projects to the product. this works from a landscape of when you're a company which is in the product space, you're trying to develop and deliver a product, changing the people's lives. But there are instances where when you're more service-based, you give so much importance to the project because that sustains the so-called, like your revenue. So what is the impact or mindset for those kind of companies who necessarily don't have their own products, or who are giving more importance to, say, as you would say, like projects, to actually move away or try to formulate a strategy to move from that to the product space?
Excellent question, Amrish, and I can surely answer this because I have experienced this firsthand. EMC had products, okay, but I was the head of EMC services, okay. So we were delivering service to customer, okay. So when I got in as one of the leads for this transformation program or portfolio of work, I started looking at what are we delivering to our customers. Okay, we were delivering services. Okay, and we saw even in services there are various things which were lacking. For example, we did not have we were looking at how a customer interacts with our services. Okay, there was only one way, which was pick up a phone and talk to services. Okay, then we started looking, I'm talking about 2006, 2007, right? Then we started looking, how can we have multiple channels where a customer can contact EMC, right? It could be through partners, right? It could be through, the Web 2.0 technologies, right? We started looking, how do we enable our tools, our platforms, our systems, right? And that is where the product development started for enabling services. But also we started looking at how do we connect our customers, right? We used to have something called Pulse, where we used to, at the end of a call, at the end of a service request, we used to contact a customer to check up how do they feel, what do they think about our services, right? And what else can we improve, whether it's the product or the process or the interaction with the service person, right? So that was very, very important. So yes, even in service industry, there are ways of improvement, right? Which could lead to product development or process improvement. So you need to identify, and we did a green belt and a black belt on that to see how we can move this service organization from whatever the NPS score was. I would not like to give it in public here. And by the time I left EMC, the NPS score was about 89, 90%, right? So there are ways of transition. Thank you. That's the last question. And Alex, I hand it off to you and we can call it a day.
So thank you everybody for making this webinar successful. And I hope, like I did mention in the beginning, if 80% of your queries have been cleared, I think we've done a fabulous job, Mansoor.
Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. That's great. And yeah, I hope I was able to deliver some value in your journey. Please do contact KnowledgeHut. There'll be a lot of different things which are happening. The mantra is train everyone and launch trains. Train everyone is the training aspect. Launch train is the consulting aspect, right? So if you have any queries, please do contact us, right? And happy to,
Yeah, so we're here. I think, if any more questions come your way, I'm just projecting our email address that you could reach out to. Please do drop in your queries. I also did promise everybody that I'd make the announcement for the winners. So here we go before we rush out.
Let's roll the drums, Alex. Let's roll the drums.
I just have the table, so you're good.
Okay. All right.
All right. So the first winner is Amrish for the first quiz. For the second, the second it's Chandru.
Applause. Great.
And for the third, it's Abhishek.
Wow.
Congrats to all of you all. And your surprises would be shared across through an email. I mean, it is not just the email, but you would be getting your gifts and you would be intimated on your email how.
Excellent. We'll have these more
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Mansoor.
Thank you.
These more conversations, share knowledge as a forum, right? It's every time I do a webinar, a masterclass, I learn from you guys, right? So it's a knowledge which happens from, we are moving from a world that I know everything to we all need to learn, right? It's a journey and we all need to contribute. I look forward for the next masterclass. Normally every cadence, we try to do it every month. So please stay tuned for our next.
All right. Thank you all. And please do attend more of these master classes, which we would be promoting as KnowledgeHut upGrad. And you can expect multiple classes, not only from an agile perspective, but other practice areas as well. Stay tuned.
Yeah, there's a feedback form.
And God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. So we have a fabulous long weekend. Everybody, hope that you are going to be traveling and enjoying yourself as well.
Thank you, sir. Same to you, Alex. Same to you, Mansoor.
Thank you. Take care.
You.